artificial intelligence and robotics. Basically, what I'm going to talk about in this particular topic, I have divided the overall this like webinar. I have divided into four halves. See, first of all, I'll be talking very much about the artificial intelligence, robotics, because here most of the students are from the electronics and communication engineering, so they must be aware with this robotics. They used to prepare some of the projects like line follower and other robot for using various purposes. So they are aware of it, but I'm taking one of the problem of the robotic over here, and accordingly how artificial intelligence is going to integrate with that particular robot and can be utilized for any particular application. So in this webinar, I'll be talking about one particular application so that the students can they will be very much like capable to understand the things which I'm going to start from a scratch, and they can build in accordingly various projects, and they can employ or deploy, or even they can develop the algorithms further. So here the agenda is artificial intelligence. Then one of the technique of the AI, which is the ant colony optimization, which is the widely used, very popular, and it can apply to almost all the applications. So I'll be talking much about this ant colony optimization, then a very brief description about the robotics. And at the end, I'll tell you how this ECU can be utilized if we have to perform a specific task, because here we are talking about the robot, so how we can integrate it. So moving further, to start with the artificial intelligence, to understand, see, because here the most of the faculty, some of the faculty members are also attending this particular webinar, so I know for them this will be a very basic thing, but for students they will be curious about, because they know artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is nothing but, if you think that, like the manner in which you can think, the manner in which you can perform, if you are going to develop a certain system, certain machine, which, and by providing the intelligence artificially, so that they can perform the same action as if you people are doing. So AI is nothing but, it is the intelligence which is demonstrated by any machine. It can be a computer or it can be a robot. And here, what AI gives us the facility to simulate the same intelligence level, almost the same intelligence level. It depends upon us how much we are going to train to those particular machines, so that the required perceptions or emotions and the required task can be done. So this is about the brief of the artificial intelligence. See, in today's time, we are much talking about the machine learning. We are much talking about the deep learning. So most of the students, they used to like Google certain things. So they will be aware of what is machine. They will be aware with the term machine learning. So machine learning and deep learning, they are nothing but they are the subcategories of the artificial intelligence. So machine learning is the subset of artificial intelligence and deep learning is the subset of that. See, in today's life, we, means almost all the human beings, we are utilizing this AI in almost every field of our daily life. Uh, like you can see a number of applications over there where you can see how we are dependent upon this, how we are like utilizing this. So it is almost you can find in everything. Since we are talking about the artificial intelligence, but how this artificial intelligence is going to impact and how to utilize in any kind of application, like we are saying that it is utilized in almost all kinds of applications. So first we need to understand what is it and how many categories are there, and I'll also summarize for which particular topic I'll be talking about in this particular webinar. So there are various ways in which the classification can be done, but one way of classification is basically it can be divided into three ways. Statistical method, the pure mathematical analysis, the traditional models which are available, which can be utilized to solve any problems. Symbolic artificial intelligence means semi. We are using the traditional one. We can change certain parameters. We can modify some of the like requirements and accordingly, or some of the objective functions. But a very promising field of artificial intelligence is the computational intelligence. This is a very promising field. So computational intelligence, if you have to understand or if you need to define, you can understand it as it is a like computational intelligence, it is a theory or it is a design or it is a application and development of, you can say, biologically motivated techniques. So here computational intelligence is a biologically motivated techniques which can be further subdivided into three categories. Means there are three verticals, three pillars of computational intelligence are there. Artificial neural network, fuzzy logic, and the third one is the evolutionary computation. You have heard the terms of genetic algorithm, artificial neural network, fuzzy logic. So basically, and then the evolutionary computation, which is a very promising. It is being utilized by various researchers. See, many PhD students, they used to develop their algorithms which are evolutionary computational based, do some hybridization, do some variations in the objective functions, and can be applied to the same set of problem and gives the modification in the results, give better result. Efficiency is also better in that particular case. So what is the evolutionary computation over here? Evolutionary computation, it is actually a family of algorithms. Number of algorithms are here in this evolutionary computation, and which is used for the global optimization of the problems. Global optimization means, see, optimization, suppose you have to like optimize the solution, you are doing a numerical, and if you are doing that particular numerical without using the calculator, you are doing all the calculations with your hand, the time required for that particular calculation will be high. But if you utilize calculator, the time required for the calculation will be reduced. Even if in that particular calculation you utilize some of the calculations which have been done in advance, which is frequently used, again that can be. So this is one way of optimization. But here, evolutionary computation, it is talking about the global optimization problems. And it is actually a class of algorithm which is based on the inspiration of biological evolution. Certain like parameters, some operations which are inspired from natural evolutions, those parameters which are commonly used are like crossover, mutations, selections, reproduction. So there are various parameters which are used in this particular like computational algorithm. So you can understand it is a global optimization algorithm based on the biological evaluation. And swarm intelligence is one class of the evolutionary algorithm. Swarm means various kinds of swarms are available. Ant is one category, PSO particles are other category, bats, fireflies, cuckoos. So on the basis of the various characteristics and the behavior of different types of swarms, various algorithms have been developed, and those algorithm comes into the category of the swarm intelligence. It means this category, this discipline, it deals with the natural and artificial system which is composed of many individuals which coordinate among each other and finally gives the solution of any particular problem. So here I have listed two algorithms only for swarm intelligence. One is the ant colony optimization, other is the particle swarm optimization. Other algorithms I have just given you the names, I have not mentioned over here. Cuckoo search may be one more algorithm, bat algorithm, firefly algorithm. So various types of meta-heuristic algorithms are nowadays being developed and can be successfully applied. So you can pick any algorithm which you can apply in your application. You can integrate many algorithms into one, or you can do certain modifications in the algorithm. So all these things are possible, and even in your traditional approach, you can modify your traditional approach and gives the best solution over here. So here I am going to talk about the ant colony optimization, which comes into the swarm intelligence. It is a kind of evolutionary computation, and it comes into the category of CI, which is a part of the artificial intelligence. So just have tried to give you an overview about this, because the overall objective is how to integrate it. Some of the advantages you must be aware, but let me summarize you. See, artificial intelligence, because you are making a machine or a computer or any particular device, you are providing intelligence artificially by giving so many commands that whatever the function, whatever the operation needs to be done, that must be capable by that particular device. It means artificial intelligence, this is a very powerful and very useful, and with the help of this, new interface can be developed, it can be applied to solve any new problem. With the help of this, better handling of information can be done, and conversion of information into the knowledge can be done in a very precise manner. But at the same time, there are certain limitations. You can say the limitations or the drawbacks, since these are the newly developed algorithms which can be applied for the artificial intelligence. So a person may not be aware. The programmer need to upgrade the skills, or a new programmers is being required. Sometimes it may increase the cost, or sometimes because there is a like interface of the software and hardware. So with the difficulty, they can be make the system slow, and some practical products may not be available which we can simulate in software but may not be converted into the hardware. So there are various limitations which might be possible in that particular case. So let's not talk much about that. Just we got to know that artificial intelligence, this is going to be a very helpful for us. But now let us understand how it is going to be helpful for us. See, the algorithm for which we are going to talk over here, that is the ant colony optimization, ACO. From the term, from the name ant, we are very much aware, and we have seen the ants around us. We have seen in our homes also the ants moving here and there. But do you know that the ants are actually blind? Ants cannot see. But you can see they are randomly moving from one place to the another place. So what happens actually, ants have a very like capable, they can deposit or they can release a particular kind of chemical substance which is known as a pheromone. What happens when ants move? They are actually blind, they can't see, but still you have seen that sometimes ants used to follow, they used to make a stream, they used to move in a line. So how beautifully they move in a line. So that is the characteristic which is being utilized for the artificial intelligence. If we talk about this algorithm, ACO, so this algorithm was developed, the traditional one was developed in 1990, early of 1990, it was in 1992, by the person whose name was Marco Dorigo. He has actually introduced this particular algorithm in his PhD thesis by taking some of the basic features, then various modifications, various other features have been incorporated, and time to time various modifications have been done in the algorithm. So this is actually a optimization algorithm. And ant colony optimization, if we talk about, this is a population based. Population based means we cannot analyze by moving a single ant, how a single ant is moving, and we can analyze and derive a particular solution which can be applied for any particular application. No, this is not possible, because until unless we are not going to apply it for a particular population or a group of ants, and we are not going to get the perfect solution among how many solutions we are getting, then we cannot say that it is a generalized solution and which can be applied for the global optimization problem. So it is a population based probabilistic solution. It doesn't give us the approximate exact solution. It always gives us approximate solution. Why we are saying that? Because we can calculate the probability only how ant is moving from one place to the another place. We don't know. Like in this particular manner, it has to take it forward. No. So we used to calculate on the basis of the probability. That is why this is also known as a probabilistic approach. And this algorithm you can apply in a very beautifully, in a very systematic and simplified manner. This is very interesting. See, let's understand how these ants behave and how we can utilize if we are talking about one particular problem. As I've told you that ants are blind. So what happens if you release some number of ants at one place? Let us say कि ants just they have started traveling from their nest, or you can say at one place you have just released hundred or thousands of ants. What will happen? Initially you will see ants are moving, scattering randomly in any of the direction. Some of the ants will move in one direction, some will another, some will another. So there will be multiple directions. But if you keep observing, then what will happen after certain time, they will make and move in a particular stream. How this happens actually? See, that is a very interesting like manner in which it can be understand. You can understand it. See, here in this particular diagram, you can see ant is moving from nest for searching a food. So what happens if an obstacle come in between? Here we are assuming for the simplicity that this is a path, means nest and food. This is along a one path and ants started to move in the search of the food. But what happens if in between any obstacle will come? Some of the ants will move left, some of the ants will move right, and they will keep searching the food, and after certain time interval they are finding the food, and they will collect certain amount of food and will try to return to their nest. This is what the actual tendency is. So what will happen? You can observe over here the ants which is following the upward path. Means here only two paths have been shown, upward and downward. See, uh, this upward and downward. So you can see this path A. This is shorter in comparison to path B. Means the distance travel as per the shown in this particular diagram. The distance travel in this A, that is less. So what will happen when ants are moving? They used to release a pheromone which is known. They used to release a substance which is known as a pheromone. Pheromone is what something ants can smell. So when they are returning after collecting the food, they will smell the pheromone which is deposited on the path. So what will happen? Because on the path A, some number of ants have been traveled and they reach to the food faster. So the deposition of pheromone on the path A will be higher in comparison to the B. Because for B, ants are traveling a long distance, so less number of ants will be reaching the food in that particular time interval. It means the pheromone which have been deposited on path A, that is higher than B. So what will happen when the ants are moving back? They will follow the path A, not the path B. So you can see in this particular diagram, second one, how these ants have converged onto a single path. Initially they were following two paths, path number 1 and 2, and now it has been converged to one path only. So this is how this particular property is utilized for the ant colony optimization. Because if we are talking about, here I am going to discuss about a path planning, path optimization. So what is our requirement? To follow the shortest route. And here you can see the characteristic of ants. It can be utilized and this particular algorithm can be applied to a problem also. Moving further, as I have told you that this is the probabilistic approach. So here probability rule is applied. See, if I say the ant is moving from one place to the another place, let us say if this is a kind of structure or any plane, if ants start from one plane, it can travel to this path, it can travel to this path, it can travel to this path. But first, the probability rule is applied in between the two nodes in between first and second. Let us say I and J. And the rule which is applied, that is known as a pseudo-random proportionality action rule. And there are two factors upon which it depends. First is heuristic and the other is meta-heuristic. See, what is the heuristic approach? Heuristic is hit and trial. means trial and error method. You keep trying, calculate the error, and in which particular case you are finding less error, that must be acceptable. But meta heuristic is superior to the heuristic. It gives actually solution better than the heuristic, and here the comparison can be made, number of iterations can be done, and accordingly the best solution is being taken out. So when this rule is applied in between the two nodes, then always the probability can be calculated. It can be calculated by using this formula. This is the formula being defined for the ant colony optimization. Tau is the pheromone, quantity of pheromone. Eta is the inverse of the distance between the two nodes. So for each and every distance, means in between the two nodes, this rule is being applied. But when you have to apply it for a longer problem or for getting a solution for a larger domain, then ant used to modify its environment in two ways. One is the local trail updating and the second is the global trail updating. You can understand it as, first, if you have to solve any problem, if you are capable to solve it, so first you are applying for, you are giving the solution to some your known persons. Ki I have find out this particular solution, just try and test it. Once your friends, they have also give you the indication that yes, this is going to be a beneficial for us, then you are going to give it the generalized to the other public also. So when you are dealing among your group or among your space, that is the local, and when you are going to apply it for the global solution, that is the global trail updating. So in the same manner it is going to perform. So first, what is local trail updating? Local trail is actually when ant moves in between the two nodes. It started from node A and reaching to node B, it updates the amount of the pheromone. And how this is being done? See, initially that pheromone amount, that is like 0, but from a certain condition you have to take some initial value, apply the formula, calculate it. So the local trail updating is being done by using this particular condition. Tau naught is the initial value of the pheromone trails. At time t is equal to 0, it must be 0, but for a certain time interval you can calculate it, and that you can take as the initial value, because until unless there is no pheromone deposited, ants is not going to smell it and cannot follow the path. And rho is the evaporation constant. See, once the pheromone is deposited, that is a chemical substance. So if it is deposited, then with respect to the time, it used to evaporate also. So when you have to utilize it in your any problem, you have to initialize all these parameters. For how many amps you are like applying this, what is the evaporation constant, what is the initial value of the pheromone, then it can be done. For the global trail updating means, suppose we have taken 100 ants, if all those ants have completed all the nodes, then the shortest path can be identified and that can be updated. Like shortest path you can understand is, if you are in your own campus, you are in your own building, in your department, and you have to reach to your institute main gate. So there are various locations via which you can travel from your department building to the institute gate. So out of those many, which one is the shortest one, that is need to be identified. That can be done. That can be identification can be done by using the AC. If you understand, you can understand it with the help of the flow chart. This is very simple, and this is the entire algorithm. Depending upon the variations, this can be applied to any kind of problem. See, initially, as I told you, you have to initialize certain parameters. Then suppose you have to apply this particular algorithm for certain number of iterations. So first iteration is going to start. You will select one ant will move randomly. You have to select what is the probability of next node at which this ant can reach. You are going to calculate the cost. Here cost may vary, the function of cost. Sometimes you may going to calculate the cost for the distance, suppose shortest distance. अगर आपको, if you need to optimize for the time, you can calculate the shortest time. If you need to optimize for any other parameter, like if we talk about the industrial automation, And let us take an example for the industrial automation. If we talk about the PID controller, for example, I've taken the example, you people are the students of electronics and communication. If there is a requirement to tune a PID controller, it means what is PID and its related value. The parameters need to be quantized. Means what is the like of error in which particular manner you are calculating. So you need to calculate the cost depending upon the application, depending upon your requirement. Once you calculate it, you are going to update the information for the local pheromone. Local pheromone means in between the nodes also. If the ant is last ant, means all the ants, if you have taken a group of 100, all the 100 ants have completed and that is being done. If that is being done, then you are getting the best solution among those 100. Then you are going to update the result for global updation. And if you have taken suppose 50 iterations, then for one iteration you have updated the result. Then in the similar manner, 49 more times this loop, this algorithm will be executed. It means out of each and every loop you are getting one best solution, and from that 50 best, whatever the best solution, that will be updated, and that is actually the best solution which you are going to utilize in your application. So in this particular manner, this ACO can be applied. There are various variants of ACO. Like here I'm talking about the ant colony optimization and its initial algorithm which was developed. After that, so many variants have been developed. So some of them I have listed out over here. And after that also various modifications in the algorithm is being done, which is now being currently utilized and compared with the already developed algorithm. So some of the variants are like ant system, at-list ant system, ant queue, ant colony, min-max ant system, rank-based. So various like variants depending upon you are varying which particular parameter you are or you are taking which particular kind of set of that particular ants and going to utilize that. So various variants are available over there, and some of the successful ant colony optimization algorithms which have been applied for some of the applications I've listed out over here. Some of the categories are like, if you talk about the routing problem, if we have to talk about how ACO is being applied for this routing, then you can see traveling salesman is one problem. Traveling salesman means the salesman, that particular salesman must be having certain tasks, certain like goals that he has to visit to 20 stations in a day. So what is the requirement? All those 20 stations must be covered in a day with shortest path, shortest time, so that the like task can be done. So traveling salesman problem is one way, vehicle routing, sequential ordering, path optimization. Here I am going to talk about the path optimization, right? Similarly, optical network routing. See, you can apply this ACO for the wireless sensor networks also. You can apply the ACO for control system also. So it can be applied to any of the field. If you talk about the assignment, then various problems are quadratic assignment solution, course timetable preparation. Timetable preparation can also be solved, means that types of complications can be handled and it can be prepared in less time. Graph coloring, frequency assignment. If you talk about the scheduling, car sequencing, project scheduling, machine learning, bioinformatics. So here I have listed out only 5 categories, but it can be applied to number of successful like applications. Now let us talk in a very brief about the robot. All of you are aware, a robot is nothing but it is a computer controlled machine, and it has some degree of freedom. Means it has the ability to move around in its environment, and most of you students, you have prepared some of the robots for performing some of the tasks, and you used to submit it for your project submission. So a robot typically has what? It has a goal, means what is to be performed. It has a plan, means to achieve that goal, in which manner it has to accomplish. And there are certain sensors, means which must be giving the information about the environment, right? See, suppose if you're talking about an autonomous wheelchair moving, take a machine controlled wheelchair, there is no manual operator, then what happens? It can be controlled, and in the presence of the obstacle, what happens? Again, planning of the path is to be done. But if obstacle come around and the person who is sitting on the wheelchair, that person is not capable to move it left, right, or it is that person is not capable to perform any action, then what will happen? Means with the help of the sensors, the information will be gathered in the control station. Control station will generate a command, and accordingly the further path planning can be done. So this is what the whole thing is being performed in the automated manner, and ACO performs very beautifully for this particular task. But whatever the information we are getting about the environment, that could be collected with the help of the sensors only. So path planning is actually how to move, how to know about the environment, and how to take further actions. Various types of robots are there. Just to give you a review, mobile robo which moves very freely in the environment. It may be indoor, outdoors. Currently also you are observing various applications in a daily life. Autonomous means where the robots are moving, and which is the combination of the vehicle and computer control, just like I have given you the example of the wheelchair. Similarly, autonomous cars, autonomous planes, helicopters, submarines. So various autonomous vehicles can be deployed, upon which artificial intelligence can be applied, and which can be successfully giving you the results. So here I am going to talk about this. Some more types are robotics arm. You have seen some of the students must have prepared the projects also. But these actually robot arms, etc., they usually consider rarely artificial intelligence, because they have to perform this specific task. So artificial intelligence can be employed, but in some of the cases for the optimization and etc., that may not give you the that required results. Soft robots, which using the soft computing approaches, mimicking robots, which actually learn by mimicking, nanobots, which are basically used in the drug delivery. These are of the order of the nano. See how much small these robots will be. So various robots are there which can be utilized for various applications. Just I have taken one image to give you a glimpse, though you are aware with. Now, which is actually the last portion of this particular webinar and our interest. We know one section which is artificial intelligence, we know robotics, but now these two things can be integrated. So if you integrate, if you combine robo with artificial intelligence, it will give you artificial intelligence robots. It means with the help of this, we can design an adaptive control system for a mobile robot, and where we are utilizing the artificial intelligence, and here the algorithm or the technique which we are using, that is ACO. Here a term comes adaptive. What is this adaptive? Adaptive means in a runtime situation, in real-time situation. If I have started moving from this place, I have to reach to a certain destination. Suppose I have to come to the Indore. I have started from here. My path is very much clear. I have to follow this particular path and I will reach to the Indore. But what happened during some unfavorable conditions or something, if my path is being like closed? Then from there I have to decide. Now I have to explore the new opportunities, new paths, and among those available paths, I have to select the best one. That is actually the adaptive one. While moving, that particular device must be capable to identify or to generate the best solution. Dependencies is not being done. Once whatever is being decided, that is to be performed. So depending upon the scenario, some scenarios may be static, some scenarios may be dynamic. So here this integration can give you the solution in the static, in dynamic situations, or even in known environment or unknown environment also. Like if you are sitting in your classroom, that environment is known. If you have to move in your classroom from your desk to the board, you can travel it because that particular environment is known. You know at which location there are the seats and tables. But in case of the unknown environment, it has to be applied accordingly. So it has the beauty of performing both kind of actions on known and unknown environment. If you think whatever you have developed, you can just relate it with the robot control structure just to understand where we are going to apply the artificial intelligence. See, we are saying we are moving, vehicle is moving, or robot is moving. If our robot is moving, how it is moving? We are giving certain commands, move left, it must be giving certain commands, move left, move right, move forward, move backward accordingly. So it means certain actions can be taken. These actions are what? These are the control signals. And when a vehicle or the robot is moving, or a wheelchair, which we have taken as an example, it is moving, then about the environment, it is getting the information with the help of the sensors which is being mounted on that particular vehicle. So sensors are available which must be giving the information about the obstacle, the size of obstacle, the nature of obstacle, the environmental other conditions. It means there must be certain sensors and sensor information must be given to the vehicle controller. And on the basis of this information, and what is our object? Object is to travel. For example, for a traveling salesman problem, he has to provide the delivery to 10 stations. So 10 stations must be covered with full efficiency. Here where we are going to utilize, so whatever the requirement of the vehicle controller is, path planning, path following. So at this particular stage we are going to apply AI. You can apply AI depending upon the information which you are getting about the information or the surroundings by using sensors. Then AI can act how to utilize it further and how to generate the control signal so that the necessary action can be taken out. So when we are talking about the designing of an adaptive control system, adaptive means again and again I am telling you which can be tuned in a real-time situation. See, it must have three capabilities. First, path planning. Initial path planning must be done. Then in case we are finding any obstacle, that must be avoided, and path replanning can be done. And after that, path tracking can also be performed. Like where the manual person, like manual assistance is not required and you are designing some autonomous vehicles, so there is no manual operator. But once you have given certain command that machine is performing something, you need to follow that particular thing also. It means along with the planning, tracking is also a required thing. So here nothing is being done with the help of like manually calculation. The intelligence is being applied, the algorithm is being applied, and this like kind of like application, it can be applied on a large level. Globally, it gives you the solution. So when we are talking about the path planning, just to give you a brief overview about this, path planning means, as I have told you, that if the vehicle needs to travel in between 2 points, point A and B, so obstacles must be avoided. Or what is the nature of obstacle? Whether the obstacle can also move, or is terrain going to present or create a problem in between the paths? Path planning can be done, and it must include whether the robo or the vehicle is moving along a straight line, or it follows the curves also, or it can move on the walls also, tracing the wall switches. Some of the additional issues are also happens, which are actually being identified by observing various practical scenarios. How much path can be viewed ahead? If I've started from this particular point, I may get a calculation for 10 kilometer, but what happened beyond that? So how much, like for the path for ahead, you can do the calculation. Or if once a path is being generated, the entire path, or certain portions of the path is being generated, means one portion is generated, you have completed that. Again, next portion is generated, you have completed that. Or if a vehicle or robo gets stuck, so what is going to happen if it gets stuck and it is not capable to move forward? Whether it can move backward and take the required action or not. So accordingly, these many issues needs to be considered over there. Simply, it can be divided into four categories. Means path planning can be done in static or in dynamic environment. So depending upon the static and dynamic environment may be known or unknown. So accordingly, there are four categories: static environment, dynamic environment. So how you are going to do it further? Again, two things happens over there. One is local path planning and the other is global path planning. What happens in the case of the local path planning? See, whenever a machine or a device or a vehicle needs to move in an unknown environment or in a dynamic situation where the obstacle may come in a run time, some obstacle may move out immediately, and some obstacle is going to create a hindrance. So the algorithm which you are using for the path planning, that is responsible for that obstacle avoidance also, change of environment also. So what happens in the case of the local path planning? Usually a robo is guided along one straight line, starting from one point to reaching to the destination, which follows the shortest path, and till it is not going to obtain or interact with any of the obstacles. But in the case of the global path planning, prior information about the environment is also required. See, in some of the cases of the robust path planning, you use the artificial intelligence also. What happens over there? If your vehicle is moving, let me take this particular artificial intelligence later on, otherwise it will be too much mixing. I'll take it later on. So global path planning, where prior information about the environment must be known. So about the environment, like if the rovers needs to be moved in your classroom, etc. itself, sorry. Then the image of the classroom means where the podium is present, where the stand is present, where the chair and desk is present. The information about the overall environment is first loaded, then the planning is done, and accordingly shortest path needs to be identified. So here, depending upon the information of the environment, the necessary action needs to be taken. Global path planning techniques. Various techniques are there. Some of the traditional techniques like road maps method, commonly used the traditional one, potential field, cell decomposition methods. They are used in a number of applications now. They are the traditional one. But with the help of the artificial intelligence for global path planning, shortest path algorithm can be developed by using AI, which we are taking. And here, as I've told you, I'm going to talk about this ACO, how it is going to be applied. So how to integrate this ACO in a mobile robot? See, the procedure is very simple. If you have to utilize this algorithm, what you are doing means, let me again summarize you. Here we are going to apply ant colony optimization algorithm for path planning, means getting shortest path of a mobile robot. This is the problem actually, right? So mobile robo is what? It is a complex control system, and path planning is one of technology. You can control various other factors of the robo also, as if you are performing for home automation or for in case of like fire alarming robo. If there is a like presence of fire, then it will give you a message to the authority, and accordingly the necessary action can be taken out. So various like robots you are utilizing it, and depending upon those applications you can apply this algorithm. So path planning is one of them. ACO is here we are applying for finding the shortest path, right? So what happened, this algorithm uses a search way because there is a requirement of first finding the local update, and that is going to be update on a global scale. So accordingly, we can see by the use of artificial intelligence, the convergence of algorithm, it is done at a very fast rate. Means within, if you implement such type of algorithms, you will be able to generate the results very fastly. Even in a runtime situation, within a fraction of time, fraction of minute, you will be able to get the results, and accordingly necessary action can be taken. So it reduces time, convergence also improves, efficiency also improves, and the removal of manual operators. So many advantages are there. And results which you are getting by using artificial intelligence or ACO algorithm, you can see how quickly a robot can plan the optimal path in a complex environment. Sometimes the environment must be very complex, even if the workspace, search space, you can say that is very small, and too many hindrances you can find over there. So you can see how quickly robo has to identify or take the decision for the next move. So you can divide the whole problem. If we are talking about the path planning, so initially you take a search space, you take a workspace where this planning needs to be done. Then what we are doing, grid method, that is very effective because it will help us to track everything, also to monitor and track our robo very easily. So grid method is very effective, and here what we are going to do, we are going to divide the entire workspace or search space into a grid. Grid you can see you have divided into a small blocks to facilitate the like parameters, to facilitate the coordinates also. And it is currently most widely used environment which is used for the modeling method and decomposition of this robo planning space into a number of information unit. It can be divided by the use of heuristic algorithm, means this division can also be done. See, in the case of the image processing also, you can say some of you must be aware with the image segmentation. So for doing segmentation, there are certain algorithms, so that algorithm can also be utilized. No need of doing any manual thing or any specific thing. So in this manner, the problem can be designed, and accordingly the action can be taken. See, let me explain you in more detail. Suppose this is our workspace. You can see in this particular diagram. Here I have taken a plan for 20 into 20. This was our workspace which I have divided into a grid. What are the advantages? Now each and every coordinate, this coordinate, this coordinate, this coordinate, means whatever the coordinates we are getting over here, these coordinates information will be stored in our system. Accordingly, the control signals will be generated for the robo, and the necessary action can be taken out. Here in this first case, which I am talking about, the first diagram, you can see there are some circles. These circles are nothing but the obstacles, right? If these obstacles are not present, what is going to happen over here? If this is source and this is destination, the G point being mentioned over here, if this is source and this is destination, there is no obstacle. What is the shortest path? We can calculate this diagonal. I'm not able to draw the diagonal line very clearly over here. So the diagonal, you can calculate the shortest path. But what happens when there are some obstacle being present? How this algorithm is going to apply? See, let me explain you in the second case. We have started from this point O. 0, 0, the coordinate at 0, 0. Probabilistic rule is applied to calculate the distance in between this point and this point, in between this point and this point, neighbor's point, not this one. First, it is being applied, the shortest route, the distance is being calculated, that is updated, that is S1. Again, in between the next node, suppose we say that robo moves from here to here. Again, for this location, the shortest route is being calculated. Suppose that is this. I'm just taking an example. This. It moves here. Again, from here, the necessary action needs to be taken, which particular path. So, depending upon the coordinates which are giving us the best solution, the shortest one, that path is being taken out. Suppose in a runtime situation, in a real-time situation, some obstacle may arise. Robo is moving here and here an obstacle comes. What will happen? Because of the presence of the obstacle, robo will stop, will move backward, take certain steps, again calculate the shortest distance. Then from this point, it will calculate the shortest distance to move further. If this is the shortest distance, it is moving. If this is the shortest distance, it is moving. If this is the shortest distance, it is moving. And here, if any static obstacle is present, again it will calculate and accordingly the necessary action will be taken out. So here, what is the objective? Divide the entire problem into the grid. Mention the coordinates. That coordinates will be input to the programs. It will be calculating, that will be the nodes. In between the two nodes, it is always calculating the shortest distance. For so many iterations, the program is being executed and whatever the best result is being calculated, that is being updated over here. How the image processing can be utilized? See, if you have designed a robo which is moving in a certain environment, if that particular robo is moving in your campus and you would like to control by sitting in your own classroom, what you are going to do? You have just applied a camera over there and initially you have taken the image in which particular environment that robo needs to move. So on the basis of the prior information, where your institute building is, where your department building is, where there is a green area. So on the basis of that initial picture, all the inputs have been fed to the robo. Then there is a use of ACO. Depending upon the prior information about the environment, ACO will calculate the path, your robo will move. What will happen? In between, if there is any runtime situation, runtime obstacle, if any student is moving or crossing that particular path, robo or the sensors which are available on that particular robo, it will share the image of that particular obstacle, send the image again on the basis of the nature of image. What happens? ACO will again execute the program depending upon the nature of image. Whether the obstacle is moving, obstacle is very high, some of the obstacles may be very small upon which robo can move. So once a picture of the obstacle can be received by you, which means a source station, then again ACO will be executed. Again, it is going to calculate the shortest path, will give the control signal to the robo, and accordingly robo will move. So you can see the problem is very simple. What the example we have taken here, path planning we have taken, which is a very basic problem, but you can apply and artificial intelligence. You can use image processing also to make your system very efficient so that it can work successfully and so many algorithms can be applied. So this is a very basic problem which can be dealt in a very intelligent manner. What happened? The same type of situation. See here, if you are talking about a line robo, that is a very basic question. But suppose we are talking about an industrial automation, there are so many machines and all the machines are performing very well. If there is a requirement to increase the efficiency, there must be certain tuning of the parameters. One machine require tuning of timing, other require tuning of like fuel, other require tuning of temperature. So you can see how these artificial intelligence, how these algorithms can be applied simultaneously to solve so many problems at a time. So this can be extended, this particular problem can be extended. In place of ACO, any latest algorithm which are developing day by day, you can utilize those algorithms also, just like artificial bee colony, that is also a very successful algorithm which can be applied. Or if you would like to integrate or make the hybrid of two, like with the use of ACO by using, let's say, fuzzy logic also. So you can make a hybrid of fuzzy with ACO. How to make the hybrid of fuzzy with the ACO? Just in a manner in which ACO is calculating the parameter. There you need to tune some parameters. See, you cannot like change the algorithm. If you are using ACO, the same thing is used, but the manner in which pheromone deposition rate is being calculated or the probability is being calculated, in between that formula, you can do certain more tuning, more training, so that more refined parameter we can obtain over there. So you can use hybrid of two approaches, more than two approaches, or sometimes some algorithms can be modified. Modification can in ACO algorithm can also be done. I've also done one modification and presented a paper as well. So there was a modification in the calculation of the cost function for shortest time. What happens? First, there is a requirement in the local updation, then global updation. Then what happens? Just by updating the result, one result you have calculated, second you have again calculated. No, and suppose you have to calculate the results for the 100 iterations. No need to store those 100 iterations result. What you can do? Initially you have one result, then you have calculated the second one, then you can store the updated one, the best one. You have calculated third one, again calculate the stored one and the best one. The best will be updated. So the memory is also reduced, and time taken which is required to read out the best results out of the among one, that will be done at a very fast rate. So this is how you can apply it. Nowadays computer vision, machine vision, that is very effectively integrated with the electronics problems also. So you can apply these many algorithms, these many techniques just for making your system intelligent, smarter and efficient. So with this, I would like to end this particular topic. Thank you so much for listening very patiently. If you have any doubt, if you would like to discuss anything, you can discuss with me. Another ma'am, this is
Okay.
over
Yes,
from my side.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Any questions from student side?
यस मैम।
हाँ आयुष पूछो।
यस मैम। मैम मेरा नाम आयुष ममोरिया है मैम। मैम सेकंड ईयर का स्टूडेंट हूँ। तो
Yes, Ayush.
मैम पूछना चाह रहा था मैम, सेकंड ईयर के लेवल पे मैम किस टाइप के प्रोजेक्ट्स बना सकते हैं एआई एंड रोबोटिक्स को लेकर मैम?
आयुष, आप किसी भी तरीके के से आप ये देखो, सिंपल प्रोजेक्ट्स आप क्या बना रहे हो? आजकल तो स्कूल के बच्चे भी रोबोट्स बना रहे हैं ना, आप खुद भी
Right.
देखकर
यस मैम।
आए हो, है ना? आप अभी स्कूल पास आउट हुए हो, आप सेकेंड ईयर में आए हो, 2 साल पहले आपने देखा स्कूल के भी बच्चे बना रहे हैं, आर्डिनोज अवेलेबल हैं, किट्स अवेलेबल हैं, हमने कुछ नहीं करना है, छोटे छोटे से कंपोनेंट्स लगाए और हमने बना लिया। तो क्या है, द थिंग इज कि हमारे को सबसे पहले अपनी रूटीन की चीजों को स्मार्टली बनाना होता है। आपने वही जो प्रोजेक्ट बनाया है, कोई बात नहीं, आप उसमें यू ट्राई टू अप्लाई एआई। अगर आप एआई नहीं अप्लाई करते हो, यू ट्राई टू अप्लाई इमेज प्रोसेसिंग। क्या होता है, आपने सिंपली उसको कमांड दिया, सारी चीजें बना दी, हमारा लाइन फॉलोवर मूव करने लग गया। लेकिन उसी को ही आप थोड़ा सा वारी करना देखो। आप सिंपली जो टेक्निक मैंने अभी आज डिस्कस की है, यू कैन अप्लाई दिस टेक्निक, यू कैन स्टडी द सिमिलर टेक्निक्स। बिकॉज आज का प्रेजेंटेशन जो वेबिनार है मैंने आप लोगों के लिए, बिकॉज अनघा मैम से बात होके ये पता लगा कि हु इज द ऑडियंस। सो द ऑडियंसेस आर यूजी स्टूडेंट्स। तो इस तरीके के प्रोजेक्ट्स you can apply the same ACO algorithm कोई बात नहीं, पहले आप छोटा सा बनाओ, छोटा सा प्रोग्राम बनाओ, आप 10 आइटरेशंस के लिए बनाओ, आप छोटे छोटे पैरामीटर्स रखो, आप सिंपल एक 10 बाय 10 का ग्रिड बनाओ, आप पहले सिमुलेट कर लो, डोंट गो फॉर द हार्डवेयर। इफ आई सजेस्ट यू, जैसे आपका था कि मैं कैसे बनाऊं, सबसे पहले स्टडी मैटलैब, अगर आपको मैटलैब आता है तो ठीक है, नहीं आता तो थोड़ा सा सीखो, और सिंपली आप उसमें एक अपना इमेज, एक मैट्रिक्स इंट्रोड्यूस करो, कोऑर्डिनेट सेट करो और एल्गोरिथम लाइक इम्प्लीमेंट करके देखो। जब आप छोटा सा काम कर लोगे ना, फिर आप देखोगे कि आप उसको इंक्रीज करो, अपना सर्च स्पेस इंक्रीज करो, एंड्स इंक्रीज करो, आइटरेशंस इंक्रीज करो, जिससे बाकी पैरामीटर्स इंक्रीज करो, वारी करो, हिट एंड ट्रायल से आप देखो कि कैसे रिजल्ट मिल रहा है। एंड वंस आपका ये हो जाता है, देन यू कैन डिप्लॉय फॉर द हार्डवेयर ऑल्सो।